Hey guys, this is the fastest way for you to start making money in the AI space. Now, at this point of you watching my content, I think there is no questions in terms of either you should offer the time saving services or the money making services. Of course, right now we're talking the money making AI powered activities. And when we talk about this mechanism, it's all about the sales or the marketing. And this is very important differentiation. The sales is what convert the leads into basically the sales or the bookings, visits, schedules, deposits. Marketing is what drives these leads to your sales mechanism. And I've been talking a lot on this channel about the sales when the business is generating leads, you work with these leads and help them to make more money. Unfortunately, the majority of the businesses is actually super struggling with the front end side, with the marketing. This is why if you want to make as much money as possible, as fast as possible, you want to combine them together into a growth engine or whatever you call it, right? So we call it a self-selling funnel, lead activation system, growth engine, whatever your creativity allows you to create, right? So let me give you an example of the sales goal that might happen with you. Let's say you're talking to, Bob, okay? So, Bob, hey, do you want to make more money? Oh, the answer is yes, of course. So where's the problem, right? So where's the roadblock? We're role playing right now in terms of the how the sales call usually goes. Okay, so where's the roadblock? And Bob can either say it's the leads, the sales, or something else. Now, something else, this is not the place for us to start making money and offer the services. So let's focus on either the leads or the sales. So maybe Bob says, hey, listen, so we have a lot of the unqualified leads and they're not properly engaged and we're wasting money and we have a lot of the organic traffic. And so it's like everything related to the sales, that's awesome. Okay, so you're having your system already done, already built, and you just tackle the sales right away and you start offering them to Bob. Now, if the Bob says, okay, listen, so it's just the leads, right? So we're not having enough leads. Your clarification question, so when Bob said the leads, right? So if the Bob said sales, you're going, separate direction, and of course you're going to your sales system. Hope at this point you're having your sales system already dialed in. Now, the leads is actually a tricky question and the tricky response to handle because the leads could be also about the volume or it could be about the quality. So let's say Bob says, okay, it's the leads, and you say, okay, is it like the leads are shit or you don't generate enough leads? And of course, the majority of the Bobs will tell you that there are not enough leads. Some of them will say, listen, like, they're not like, they're trash, okay? They're not ready to buy. Now, not ready to buy is a sales problem, not the leads problem. And now you're routing back to the sales and to your sales engine, right? In From my experience, if we say like this is like 100 calls right here, maybe 30 calls and 30% will actually say that it's about the sales and 70% gonna say that it is about the leads. Out of this 70%, so now let's say these are the 100%, so out of this 70%, which is the 100%, about another 25% will say that it's about the quality of the leads. But still, the majority of the people, 75%, gonna tell you that they don't have enough leads, right? And the 75% of the 70%, it's basically around 50%. So now, the 50% of the businesses that you will talk to will tell you that they don't generate enough leads, right? They need enough leads, right? And this is a super simple task to do, right? You don't have enough leads, run the ads, run the outreach, do the SEO, which is the long-term game, or post more content if they already do that, scale what you're already doing. But if they're relying on the referrals and the network and the word of mouth, again, the only solid way for them to scale is run the outreach or do the paid ads on the Facebook or the Google. Now, so you can say, okay, Eugene, why we are talking about that? Because like this, 50% is basically handled by the marketing agency, which is marketing, right? This is the marketing. like just the marketing agency that is gonna run the ads for the bot. You can surely only focus on the sales, okay? You don't need to focus on both, and you don't need to create the growth engine and cover both sales and marketing. This is what we do, right? Even though we're transitioning a little bit right now, and I can talk about this in a separate video, but you can see that when you're having, let's say, 10 conversations, offering your sales systems and sales growth, actually what you are really having is you are really having the 55, after the 10. So what you really have is the 5 conversations with the people who can potentially not even buy, maybe they are not qualified, but can potentially use and see the value in your services. But the other 5 is actually not even there. They don't generate enough leads. And of course, the guys like us having this system, like the one prompt, close about 50% of these 5. So this is why we're closing 2 to 3 clients out of these 5. So thus, out of the 10 that we're having here, we close 2 to 3, which is 20 to 30% closing rate, which is standardized, right? But you're losing the 5 right here. And that's okay for us when I am trying to productize as much things as possible, right? And not overcomplicate the work for us. But we're in a lucky position. We are making enough money right now where we can choose the projects to work with, and we're choosing specifically to work for the long term, okay? But maybe you're in a bit different position. Maybe right now you need to generate the cash flow, right? You want to get the ball rolling. You need to get the money to then reinvest into running more funnels, into scaling the business. This is why you need to maximize your chances and having 20-30% closing rate, but not of these 5 people, but of the 10 people. Okay, how you're gonna do that? You're gonna handle the marketing for them. Okay, so what you're gonna be doing is you're gonna be combining the sales with marketing, and you're gonna generate traffic, convert the traffic to the leads with different conversion mechanism to increase. Like, it depends on what type of the traffic you're running. Of course, if this is the instant form on the Meta, it's like the traffic converts to the leads. There's nothing you can do besides tackling the creatives. But if you're running the traffic to the website, to the landing pages, to the VSLs, there are a lot of the mechanisms that you can do. For example, something that not a lot of people think about is that the chatbot on the website on the top right can really increase the conversion from the cold traffic to the actual leads by 10 to 50%. This is what we've been testing ourselves with our funnels, and this is what we've tested with our clients. So instead of you having a complex website with a lot of the information, you actually remove certain information from the website, and in order for the clients to access this information, they would have to send a message to the live chat. And of course, here you must build a human experience. You must fake that there is someone there. With the delays, we're live, not respond right away, and this way you can actually increase the conversion. Now, it doesn't work for all niches, but what I'm saying, there are different mechanisms for you to convert more of this traffic into the leads. And then you're also going to convert these leads and close them into the booking, into the sale, or whatever you need, right? So this is what you're going to do for the business. But maybe this is not something new. Maybe you thought about this and you can think, okay, Eugene, but listen, I'm not a marketing agency. Like, I don't want to run the ads. I don't know how to run the ads. So let me kind of share the math right here. If you're only tackling the sales, right? So let's say you're having a system like ours, or like whatever, right? The system that qualifies, nurtures, educate, close, follow up with people, make them warm, make them excited, make them pre-sold already before they're actually going to the checkout or having into the booking. Anyway, so let's say you're having this system and this system works. Realistically speaking, if we're talking about the US market, of course, depending on where you are at, the prices can vary. We're talking about $500 to $1,500 per month service, right? Again, there are the upfront payments, and sure, we've been selling it for $2,000 to $3,000 per month. It depends on the volume of the leads that they're having in the size of their business, right? I'm generalizing and saying that this is a business doing $3 to $5 million in revenue, okay? Basically the SMB. And so why? Because it's still about the time. I know this might be controversial, because I was always saying, listen, like, you need to focus on the sales because this is the monetary activity. But if we go even deeper, like a one layer deeper, right? So let's say they're not handling the sales in the right way, right? Say they are not extracting the most amount of value from the leads that they're currently having. So why they don't do that? Probably because they don't have people to do that. And the people is actually just the workforce for the time, right? For the time, it's the time constraint, okay? It may be the money constraint because they don't have the money to pay to these employees, but still, okay? This is just about the time. If the founder of the business had literally infinite amount of time in the day, they could handle it themselves, right? So it's still about the time. And when it's about the time, you cannot charge like super high ticket for, 4-figure deals, okay? Now, then you say, okay, let's do the marketing, right? So this is what I was telling you, is to handle the marketing, right? But again, for those of you who missed it, I was telling you that you need to handle marketing and sales. And this is what this block is about. But let's calculate the marketing, which is basically marketing agency. I know a lot of you guys are marketing agency. You've been selling the marketing services for your whole life, okay? This is the only thing that you do. Maybe some of you are media buyers, some of you are whatever marketing, content, SEO type of the agencies. So realistically speaking, right now, you are charging $1,000 to $2,500 to maybe like $3,000 a month, okay? On, like, again, $1 to $3 million business, right? SMB. And why I hear posted it's a scam. Now, it's not a scam, right? So you're generating the leads, but it's harder to charge the businesses a higher ticket because you're not directly injecting money to their business. You're generating the leads, but the leads are not the sales nor the bookings, and a lot of them are not qualified. And if you're starting, so if you start offering the marketing services, if you try that, you must know that it's a hell, okay? It's a hell to sell the marketing services, because the standardized way of the sales call, how like with a marketing agency, is like, okay, like whatever, Bob, we can do you the marketing, generate you the leads. And Bob says, listen, Eugene, we hired like already like 5 agencies in the past like 3 years, right? All of them fucking burned our money. They're offering guarantees, but the guarantee on their services and not the money spent, and they were spending like crazy, right? So these are the objections that you can face. And now you don't have a leverage to kind of handle that. You can either offer a better guarantees for the budget spent, obviously not, or you need to be such a good salesperson to handle these objections, or you need to be able to articulate why your service is different, right? But in reality, it's not. So this is why you don't have a leverage. But when we are talking about the growth, right? For the growth, you can charge $2,000 to $5,000 per month for the same clients. Now, it's basically like this plus this, okay? This is what you're charging here. Now, you can charge up to $10,000 if you're working with the bigger companies. And why? Because there is no replacement. And imagine this, when the boss says, hey, Eugene, okay, so, but we worked with marketing agencies before, and you can say, listen, Bob, we are not a marketing agency, okay? And the reason why is not we generate you the leads, but we also work with these leads. and you don't need to trust us. Here's the demo. And the demo is super easy. For the marketing services, it's impossible to give the demo, right? So like you can work for like 1 week for free or something like that, but you cannot build a demo that is scalable and that you can replace and that is like super productized that you can build for multiple companies. But for the growth, because the sales system is a huge part of this growth engine, what you can do is you can build them the voice AI, caller setter, plus the text on the iMessage and the WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, doesn't matter. Combine them together with a unified memory, create a form, and send them the link, right? And they will go, oh, okay, so listen, Bob, so check out this website. This is the form. And you can also deploy a live chat widget, right? And this is going to be the form. And you can say, hey, Bob, so this is our demo. You can check it out. So you can chat with our AI sales rep on the website, or you can fill out the form and see what happens. They fill out the form. They're receiving a phone call. They're receiving the message. They're receiving the email. Bob replies, and then he's getting handled. And all this information is going to be already prepared based on their company, which is like super easy. You literally replace the prompt in the knowledge base, right? Once you have the system. So now you build them the demo within like 5 minutes for free, right? And you tell them that, listen, this is why we're different, right? So yeah, sure, like we generate the marketing and the leads, and you can work with the leads, or you can work with the AI agencies that are building chatbots and fucking whatever, but we will do both, right? And here is the proof. Like, you're not actually demoing the result that they're gonna get, right? So there is a trick. This is the trick. You're not demoing them the prerequisite that they need to buy your growth, but you're tricking their mind to think that this is the actual differentiation factor, which is, by the way, it is. And now you say, hey, Bob, we did this for free. And now you can say, listen, Bob, so instead of you only paying us $2,000 to $5,000 a month, and let's say you're gonna say, okay, it's gonna be $3,500 a month plus the $4,000 upfront payment. And it's not like you cannot charge upfront payments for the marketing services. Like technically you can, to say, okay, it's the work for setting up the campaigns and getting the creatives rolling. Of course, like creatives is a big chunk, it's the 80% of the success for the marketing, for the ad campaigns, but like still, it's harder to do. But here, you say, listen, you're paying us upfront to build this sales system. Okay, like you need that, right? Sure, like monthly, we're not requiring you to pay for the marketing upfront, right? And we will offer the guarantee for our monthly services on the marketing side. If it's not gonna work, we're gonna refund you the money or work for free. But this is a separate thing. And you can say, like, you cannot mention that, like you can say it, you can put it in the contract, it depends. But like usually we never offer the guarantees for this upfront payment because we build the sales system, and the sales system will be with them forever. And technically, like if they don't like your marketing services, they can just cancel, right? And like maybe you even refund the money if you're like trashing in their ad campaigns. Okay, you should not do that, but okay. But this is the money, you still got it, and you don't refund them because they still have the sales system, right? They still have it. So this is the actual leverage, okay? This is the leverage that you're having compared to just offering the marketing services or just offering the sales. And in the next video, I will talk about the fulfillment, but listen, so you are basically from the sales, you are charging 2, 3, 4x for the growth. In reality, if you don't know anything about the marketing, it is 20 to 50% harder fulfillment. Okay, but you are charging 400 to 500%, on top of that. So there is a discrepancy. This is the inefficiency that you can feel by the money that you're getting from here and hiring someone or learning something within the marketing space and just duplicating what other people are doing. Anyways, I will talk about the fulfillment later. Thanks for watching this video. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.